a Tudor man called Walter Raleigh heard about North America. He wanted to find out as much as he could. He was also determined. That means really, really wanted. He was determined that England should be the first country to settle in North America, to take the land and to live on it. He wanted to set up a colony. And so Walter Raleigh put together a group of people who were going to set off to America for him. It even included an artist called John White. John White was told that his job was to draw pictures of all the new plants, all the new animals, and any of the amazing people they were going to meet when they landed. In 1585, the boat that took them across the North Atlantic Ocean landed at a place that they called Roanoke in 1585. The settlers got off the boat, had a look around, and worked out where was the best place to build their little colony. The place they called Roanoke. John White even drew a map of the coastline that shows where they landed. As he was drawing the map, he went off and met some of the Native Americans who already lived in this part of North America. Even though they couldn't speak English and John White couldn't speak their language, they made friends with each other. And John White made some very careful paintings of what their way of life was. He drew pictures of their villages. Life in the Native American village was very different from life in Europe. These Native Americans believed that all the land was owned by everyone, not by individual people, that the land was part of nature and that everyone had a right to share it. You shouldn't fence off the land or sell it into little parcels. These Native Americans thought that it was really important to share the land and everything that they owned. So when these Native Americans went out to hunt animals, they didn't just hunt for themselves, but the food they brought back was shared amongst the whole village. No one was allowed to go hungry if there was food to share. They thought sharing was really important. Now these English colonists in this little village at Roanoke, the place they built, were on good terms with the Native Americans. The Native Americans showed them how to plant a crop called maize. And they grew it and ate it. The Native Americans swapped animal skins, and the English gave them in return glass, knives, and cooking pots. Two of the Native Americans even went back on a boat to England to meet Queen Elizabeth I. And so they did this trading at the start, but peace didn't last very long. On the next ship to arrive at Roanoke from England was 100 soldiers. They built a fort and started to take over the land, which the Native Americans thought was shocking because no one in their mind had the right to take or own land. And they built this fort. They put fences up and they put guns on it, and they started going around and saying that this bit of land belongs to England. And when they came across the Native Americans with their guns, they forced them to give them maize rather than grow it. When the Native Americans refused to give them maize, when they refused to give them land, the two groups began to argue. Things started going wrong, and soon there was fighting. In the end, the English were forced to leave. The first attempt to colonise, to set up a settlement in the New World, failed.